few hours ago. Oh, wait, we did. Okay, never mind. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and get started, pulling folks into the room. And y'all know the drill about chatting in your questions, comments, and we'll bring those to the attention of our presenters. Today, this afternoon, we've got Bill McGee, Scott Cohenauer, Mike Perkins, IT and business analytics combo for you. So with no further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Bill.
All right, thank you very much. See if I can get my screen shared here. All right. Everybody seems to be seeing the screen, Catherine?
Yep, okay. Good to go.
Okay, all right. Well, appreciate everybody being here this afternoon. We are going to talk a little bit about IT and our readiness for fall, or fall ready 2020. Today, let's see, let me get my cursor right here. Of course, the normal slide about Georgia I put in everyone in case this comes up later, people can see it, so know more about the university. Today, myself, if you don't know me, my name is Bill. I'm the IT director for Auxiliary. I've been with Auxiliary Services since 2007. Started out in Bulldog Bucks and dining services and worked my way around and ended up in Auxiliary as the IT director. And also have Mike Perkins. Mike, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, Mike Perkins. I'm a IT associate director with Auxiliary and currently head up the business analysis, business analytics unit. And I began with Auxiliary in March of 2017. So been at the university since 1998, I think, but
he froze.
Thinking about being here since '98, just shut him down. He just
yeah. So while he's froze, we'll move on to Scott.
Hey everybody.
Yeah, relatively young.
Oh, there you go. All right, go Scott.
Hey everybody, I'm Scott. I'm IT associate director also. I've started with the university in dining services in 2010 and been working with the rest of the departments for about 5 years now. Actually, we actually integrated card services in with dining services back when I first started too. But anyway, looking forward to getting us ready for fall, and all of our guys in IT are ready to help us be ready.
Good deal. So one of the things we're looking at is, there's going to be a new way. This fall is going to be a little bit different than we have experienced in the past. We have all of the old ways to give us the experience and knowledge we need to go into fall in this new way. As we prepare for fall, we're working on many projects we'll talk about here shortly, but it's going to be a different fall opening for sure. So some of the points we wanted to bring up is the role of the unit within Auxiliary and UGA. Our mission is to serve auxiliary services. We usually don't have direct contact with the true end user, the student or the faculty and staff, unless there's some extreme circumstances where we need to work with them, work with the student, maybe on their Iris ID to be able to get into the dining commons and things like that. But our role is to support you and make sure that you can do your job and do it efficiently and with as much technology as possible. Scott, Mike, add to that? Anything?
Well, maybe not as much technology as possible, but we want you to work with the right technology to be as productive as possible.
There we go.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm even back yet, but
Yeah.
'cause I know I've been having a little bit of crazy technical difficulty speaking of technology, but I got to catch a portion of what Bill said, but what I did hear, yeah, I'll second that. Really, I mean, I always like to just remind everybody, we are here to serve you. We are absolutely a service unit. We want to help facilitate. We want to try to do anything we can to increase effectiveness and efficiency within the operations of your unit, as well as bridging gaps throughout the university with numerous other departments. So I think we will talk a little bit later on some of the partnerships we have, but that's basically our role. It's the connectedness, allowing you to be the best that you can possibly be. So yeah, that was my addition, Bill. I hope everybody got to hear it all.
Oh yeah. You know, productivity and customer service. That is really what I believe we're here for, is customer service. Whether it's selling a meal plan, selling a parking permit, getting someone into a retail unit, making sure that the cashier has the information they need at the dining commons to effectively greet the person coming in. The customer service is really there. Main services provided. We sort of break IT down into several subgroups, and we'll show you who those people are in those subgroups here in a minute. But basically, we're here for support. We do everything from desktop support, server support, server administration, new software, PCI compliance. The list goes on and on. But our major, service provided is just that. It is supporting you in your role, looking at business process, looking at how technology can assist you. We've got, Mike with the business analytics that can look at automation. Scott does a lot of business process mapping. He's actually going to do a session on that later on this month, I believe. So those are some of the core services we provide. As we talk about sort of the background of the unit and how it was formed, we all know that we've been consolidated throughout auxiliary, whether you're in HR, whether you're in accounting or finance. IT was one of the first units to be consolidated. And as Scott mentioned, IT started even before Robert come along and started the core consolidation. In food services, we consolidated Bulldog Bucks IT and dining services IT together, and that we could see efficiencies there. And so as we, worked with Robert and talked about consolidation, we were able to pull in from transportation and parking. Mark, many of you know Mark Reynolds. He was sort of the Lone Ranger out at parking for almost 15 years. And there were a couple other people along the way, but Mark was the core IT person that really led their efforts. And I think he will echo that, the consolidation has been a true benefit and there's been synergy created. The team is much stronger than it was as individuals. I think we've all seen that teamwork can be a fun thing. It can be interesting because we brought together people that hadn't necessarily worked very close together all the time. So, but now we've learned our roles, we've learned our jobs, and we've taken on a lot more responsibility. Scott as he mentioned, he's the associate director, and Scott leads many of our projects. He has daily oversight of the IT pros that do desktop support. He's over the app dev group that does the programming and some system automation and server scripting. So, of course, Mike has business analytics. It's turned into a well-run machine to be so few people. So, Scott, Mike, anything to add on sort of our background?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick, Bill, just to let everybody know the business analytics unit, for those of you that didn't get to see the data presentation a couple of weeks back, we are a new group. We were born within IT, and I used to have the privilege of overseeing the app dev group within auxiliary IT. And as we got more and more into utilizing data, building out our data infrastructure, embracing the data analytics platform that we're using with Click, and exploring what that could do for auxiliary as a whole, and really begin taking us into a data-driven direction, which is one of the goals that upper leadership has, especially Robert. And so what ended up happening, that led to needing just an even greater focus on data. So myself, Adam Lay, we were carved out of IT and started the business analytics group July of last year. So we're about to be 1 year old. That's pretty exciting. And we've added on, I know you'll get to meet the team a little bit later. We'll introduce them, but David Akers has joined us since then. And then we really do have, to add to a little more background, because we are a small unit, our team really does stretch beyond just business analytics. And I really want to stress again and make everybody watching today understand that probably somebody within any of the units that you're a part of is serving as some form of a liaison and a hook in back with business analytics, so we can really get the data initiatives that we're trying to do to spread. And as I mentioned during my data presentation, we're nothing without those partnerships and without you, because the units possess a subject matter expertise. That subject matter expertise translates into really understanding need and to be able to figure out the most effective way to provide our services to ultimately benefit all of you. So that was a little bit more, Bill, on background. Thanks for giving me a moment.
Oh yeah, no problem. Do sort of some give you some idea of who is in IT and who works with you. Of course, you've met myself and Scott. Also in our leadership team is Stuart Ivey. Stuart takes care of our systems and networking. He works with a couple other individuals I'll show here in just a minute. But like I said, I've been at the university since 2007, in auxiliary since 2012. You heard Scott say he started in 2010. Stuart, I think he started about the same time you did, Mike, which was back in around 99 or 2000. He's got.
Yeah, I know Stuart's been in the university a long time.
Yeah, Stuart's well known, well liked.
Stuart's old.
Yeah, he's old.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
He just chatted in 1996, so he's even got me beat by a couple of years.
All right. So yeah, but that for the IT side, Scott and Stuart are the two right hands that help me run and manage and keep up with the fun and have all the excitement. On the system side, which is the group that Stuart manages, we have Preston Zhang. He's our database administrator. We got Mike Bird, who is a systems administrator specialist. And unfortunately, we don't have a picture for Nick, But Nick is a new addition to our team. He was a student worker with us. He has sort of worked his way up through the ranks. And as we had an opening for a entry-level systems administrator, he decided to apply for it and was the candidate that we ultimately chose and has been a great addition to the team. Most of the time, these three guys are working behind the scenes, so you may not see them as much as you will the others, but you can rest assured that they're working hard and doing a lot to keep the servers and network infrastructure up and running. On the app dev, you got Mark Reynolds. Mark has been here forever.
Mark's old too.
Yeah. Mark's been here, I think, 16 years or something like that, 17. But Mark started in parking. He like I said, he was the main IT person in parking for many years, up until we did the consolidation. He came kicking and screaming, but now he'll tell you that it was a great move. Mark is definitely a true asset to our team. Very sharp individual. We have Denise Anderson. Denise has been on campus for, I can't remember the exact date, but she's been on campus for many years. She worked for a long time at the library. And then she went out to work in the public sector and come back to UGA, and we hired her, and she works as an application analyst, doing scripting and project management. Again, these are two more individuals that do a good bit of work behind the scenes. They currently, like all of us, are working from home, but when they're in the office, they're over at the South Deck. So if you're ever out and about, don't be shy to stop in and say hello and ask for a favor. You never know. Our IT support team that Scott leads up, Wisdom is our senior tech, and he's our IT lead. Wisdom has been with us for about 6 years. I believe that's right, Scott, isn't it? 6 years, 7 years?
Wisdom, I think 8 years now.
Okay, 8. Boy, time flies.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy, a lot of knowledge, a lot of institutional knowledge. Wisdom is one who you'll see out and about. He'll be, out taking care of you, making sure you're going right. Jeremy Holiday is one of our new hires. He started last fall. He's a very bright individual, very articulate, very, very good at what he does. We're proud to have him on our team. He come to us from a local location here in Athens, so we're glad to have him here at UGA. We got John Pittard, who is our newest member. He was down at Valdosta State and wanted to get up into the Athens area. Those of you that know Sam Pittard that works in our marketing, we found out after they interviewed that they were actually cousins. So they sort of got to meet in a unique way. But and we got Will Lehmann. Will has been with us for about 5 years, maybe 4 to 6 years.
I think, yeah, he's at 6 now, I think.
Okay. He was hired originally at Parking and Transportation. Started out doing websites, then started doing IT work, and joined us during the consolidation. He's very, very sharp, very articulate, very, very thoughtful in what he does and how he goes about it. So Will is one that, he he goes around and he checks on you and makes sure that things are going well. When we had everybody over at what is now the one-stop shop, he had a good routine of going through the retail areas, and I always got good compliments. So Will's a great person to be on our team as well. Mike, you want to introduce your two guys?
Yeah, you guys know me now, and can put a face with the name. And I mentioned earlier that the BA team was made up of David Akers and Adam Lay. David started his career out with transit. I believe he was a bus driver, and then became the master scheduler, and I think just did a little host of other things. David and I first met when I was early on in my career here at Auxiliary, and just to begin trying to expose the other units to what some of our vision was for data. We did a training on the Click data analytics platform, and David, with the work that he was doing at the time, was fortunate enough to attend, and that's how we first met, and then began communicating a lot more. And David, I guess deep down at heart, he was a little bit of a data nerd like me, and just kept digging and building, and we were contacting each other and helping each other along. And I guess he kind of was one of the original pilot people or guinea pigs for having a unit level liaison. And essentially it's just been awesome, because he kept building up his skills. And then when we finally had the need to grow the BA team and have a job posting out there, David applied for it and was clearly the best candidate that we had apply. And he's now an official part of the team, and we're thrilled to death to have him. And Adam Lay, he started out, I think he worked even as a student in dining services, and then came along as a student worker in IT. And I really had the pleasure of getting him on the app dev team. He was kind of on the support side, and Scott had him when he was a student, and then I snagged him. So Scott always
made Scott mad.
What's that, Scott?
Made Scott mad. Yeah,
I know. Scott tells me to stop doing that, and I told him I make no promises. So because we're all just one big team in one organization.
That's right. Absolutely.
But Adam is he's finishing up right now his master's degree in computer science. There's a tremendous amount of things that he does as a part of BA. I just want to highlight it, that a lot of people may not get to see. It may not be as front and center and in your face as some of the workflows, or especially the Click applications that some of you have been able to use, that David and I spend a lot of time developing. Adam does those as well, but his technical expertise has been huge with allowing us the opportunity to connect in with vendor data feeds. For instance, the Synchromatics data, Adam wrote the utility to allow us to get that. And he's done that with many other systems. We're pulling down Grubhub data, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I don't know if Adam and David are on this call, but I did, while we were introducing, I wanted to give you all a chance as well to, if you had anything you wanted to say about, what we are as BA and how we like to work, or if I messed anything up in my description. I'll pause for a second if either of you guys are there. Anybody? I'm sure they could unmute you. Sounds like nothing. Well.
Wait, yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, Adam is there. Go ahead, Adam, please.
No, yeah, I just, it's just exciting kind of the direction that we're going in. And we've all had a part in doing kind of the reporting and kind of, I know we touched on it in the data presentation, but being able to take where we've been and kind of show that. But I'm really looking forward to the next phase of what we can do, and being able to kind of take that and project out with the predictive analytics and that sort of thing. That's really exciting. I think hopefully we can get there in the next 6 months to a year, somewhere in that area, hopefully sooner than that. But getting in that direction really is exciting, I think.
Awesome.
Good
Thanks
deal.
for speaking up, Adam.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And so before I give the floor back to Bill, this is when, I do like to say, we got Adam came all the way up as a student worker to now being a part of what we're doing with IT and business analytics. David was an operations guy. And, since I did the data presentation, I've been able to communicate with Trevor Maddox. I don't know if he's attending today or not. I haven't been able to look through the participant list yet, but, he got excited about some things he's already doing with data and some other things that could be done. Tamil, I've made some comments during the data presentation that are hugely insightful. So I just kind of want to state once again, really, anybody that works at auxiliary, consider yourself a part of our BA team. You may not be directly on an org chart with us, but your knowledge, your expertise, I think I mentioned in that data presentation where all of us at some point in time, you've had a thought that's, I bet we could do this better if, or, there's got to be a different way. If you're having those kinds of thoughts, reach out to us directly or start with your supervisors and bring it back to us, because we really do want to understand the business operations as best as possible so that we can then leverage this technology that we're working with and the data that's behind it to completely transform, hopefully, how we can do business, and some people get scared about all the automation. I always try to remind people there's plenty of work to do. Trust me, what we're trying to do with these processes is allow you to do more of the key job that you're hired to do, and not to get bogged down in prep work or, going out and finding data, copy and pasting manual processes, whatever it may be. So anyway, I want to throw that plug out there again. We really and truly are here to serve you and then the greater UGA community. If there's other partnerships you think we should explore, please let us know. We're working with FMD already. We're working with DAR, with DAR. We're working with Central Accounting. So more and more other people that we have to interact with because of the very nature of the work that auxiliary does. We're really creating a little bit of this cohesiveness. We're getting great collaboration, and it's kind of just these tentacles that spread out and get connected to everybody. So it's exciting times, as Adam said, and we look forward to doing more and more work with each and every one of you. So yeah. Thank you, Bill. I know I can talk forever, so I promise I'll be quiet now. So.
All right, good deal. We'll charge you a little bit for the commercial there.
You'll mute me and not unmute me again.
Yeah, that's it. The sort of shift gears now and start talking about sure enough the fall ready process and different things we're working on. We're going to go through some projects here in a minute. Before we start that, I did want to say we wanted to take the first part to really introduce you to IT, because I know everyone doesn't get to meet all of the IT staff. Like I said, a lot of them work behind the scenes, but they are here for you to make your job better any way we can. As Randolph talked about this morning in the bubble up communications, feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. We're always available. It doesn't have to be in the form of a ticket. We prefer tickets for trouble, but if you've got an idea, or if you've got a question, or if you want to, try something, or you've seen something unique at another school or on a webinar and you want to know if it would work here, talk to us. We'll be glad to go through it and see if we can, bring something new to our university. So, but what will the work environment look like in the fall for employees? What are we doing as IT to make that transition? One of the things, and you heard Brett say earlier, I think it was, could have been yesterday or Friday. My days are running together working at home. I can't keep up with it, but you know, we're not going to use time clocks when we first come back, because of touching of the time clock. You know, some of the things we're looking at, and she mentioned it, you know, we're looking at, can we connect the iris camera to the time clock so it's completely contactless? We're looking at, if we come out and work on your computer, or we have to go to a cashier stand or a common computer or one of the nutrition stations, how do we ensure that we're not transmitting or transferring germs or something? We've been working with other auxiliary employees, and we've got some sanitizing wipes that we will wipe things down, and it takes 3 minutes for it to activate and neutralize any germs, viruses, things like that. So if we come to work on your computer, we're going to wipe down your keyboard, your mouse, and maybe your desk or anything else we would have to touch. And when we leave, we're going to wipe it down again. That way we're not taking anything, bringing anything, or spreading anything. That goes right into the safety precautions and measures. You know, we'll still do our social distancing. We will rely heavily on remote support. We have several different avenues to do remote support. You can actually do remote support through Zoom. We have a couple of programs that are installed on all of auxiliary computers that we can actually do remote desktop support. We have used them in the past sparingly, because normally we would just go right out. Depending on how fall opens up, we'll be prepared to do support remotely or in person, whichever the case may dictate. Scott, you want to add anything on support or anything in that area?
Well, you know, with the start of school, with everybody having been out of the office for a while, we'll be doing more getting around and checking up on all the equipment to make sure it's up and running, and that includes your PCs, your printers, the iris cameras. Since we, you know, right now the plan's not to use time clocks, but that is something that we normally be checking on. But anyhow, we'll be doing a lot of preparation to get ready for fall to make sure that everything's up and running. And then, you know, working together with the BA team, our app dev team will be ensuring that all the data that we need to get everything going is in place. You know, this year there's a little bit more of a challenge to get enrollment for iris readers done. So we've got some time we've got to spend working with the card office and our leadership to make sure that we get communications out there to the students to get them enrolled and everything else, so that they can use the iris cameras at the dining halls, and so that they can use them at rec sports. But anyway, we've got a long list of items to prepare for the fall, and we'll be going through them and ensuring that we're ready to go.
Mike, anything to add on from your end on preparing for fall opening?
Well, I mean, really, as far as the BA unit goes in and of itself, in all honesty, not a lot has changed with us having to work from home, other than we're not physically driving into campus anymore. And then I terribly miss the collaborative sessions that we would do with all the different people in the units. And I'm still going to be missing that because of the social distancing that will still be in place. But just wanted to remind everybody, yeah, it's simply because we can't meet up in a conference room and whiteboard. That's one of the main things we like to do with BA, is to just really deep dive and understand your operations, so we can help figure out how we might be able to be of assistance. We are doing Zoom meetings constantly and still collaborating, still brainstorming in the exact same way. So from that standpoint, we're going to continue to be there for you, no doubt about it. So.
All right, good deal. Communication strategies. Zoom is the university preferred communication tool. They're dropping Blackboard in favor of Zoom. It's a better product and it's also a more economical product. Zoom is licensed campus wide, so everyone can have a Zoom account and use it, like what we've been doing. So as we go in the fall, there may be more opportunities for you to use Zoom than just these type meetings. You could do it with your staff or any number of things. There's also a product called Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Teams is a little more feature rich, I would say, than Zoom. It gives you the ability to have sort of instant messaging going, groups. You can break out in the rooms. I mean, it's similar to Zoom, but it's just has more features and a little more complex, but it's not hard to use. So, if you've got interest in the remote sessions like this, take a look at Microsoft Teams. If that's something that you would like to do or try, we can put in a ticket with EITS and have an account set up, or you can send it directly to the help desk and they'll set one up for you. We're happy to help and assist in that. Projects for Fall Ready 2020. Like Scott said, we have literally a laundry list of projects. As Scott mentioned, the Iris enrollment is going to be different this year. The reason being is we're doing auxiliary is helping the card office with a product to upload photos so they can make the IDs in advance and hand them out to the students during orientation so they don't have to stand in line for 2.5, 3 hours or whatever the case may be. What we're hoping will happen and what we're planning on is that the students will still go by the card office to pick up their ID. And when they do, they'll get their eyes scanned so that we can have that camera image and use it not only for auxiliary and dining, but also for rec sports. They share our database and use that for entrance into the Ramsey Rec Center. Scott, you want to go through this list, or you want me to go down? Or
I can go through a few of them.
Yeah.
I mean, just to give everybody an idea of some of the stuff we're preparing. Every year we have certain things that we have to do. We have to prepare parking permit registration and assignments for both students and faculty and staff, and that includes preparing charges to be sent to the bursar's office for students and payroll deduct for your faculty and staff. Same thing for dining student charges. There's not a lot of dining faculty and staff charges, but we're getting all that stuff prepared. With some of the places that are not in service right now or are not running, like the golf course, we'll go out and check on the golf course POS systems and stuff like that. And then we've got some kind of bigger projects going on where we're unifying the charges environment, which included all the charges I was just mentioning, the student charges to the bursar's office and the faculty and staff charges via payroll deduct. We're unifying all that data into one single database environment, and we'll also have a method for people in accounting to do manual entries into that system. As you may, I know a lot of people know about it. We're in the middle of a project of replacing all the credit card terminals throughout dining. And we're also working on replacing the credit card terminals that we've used in parking and in the one-stop shop. So that's ongoing. That creates a much leaner environment for us with a lot less external network expenditures going on. And anyway, that'll be a good cost savings to the auxiliary services and the University of Georgia as we get going with it. And then, of course, with all the new buses and transit, we'll need to be checking in on the armor system to ensure all the Wi-Fi is up and running, and all the videos that we receive from the buses, all that system is working. So, and if I didn't mention anything that you're concerned about, I'm building those. We're going through those lists, and if you do have anybody has any concerns about something that we're getting ready for fall that you want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on, please by all means get in contact with us. We're ready to help, and we look forward to helping you guys get going.
Mike, any particular projects you're preparing up for fall?
Bill, I know sometimes my tech has been a little in and out. Did you touch on photo upload already? I got to hear something you were saying about students picking up their IDs and hopefully enrolling at that time, but
Yeah,
hit on photo upload?
Yeah, I touched on that.
Cool. Okay. Cause yeah, that was just one of the main ones, where we're helping out that really does even stretch beyond our borders some. And it's been so far highly successful. We've had a lot of students upload the photos. The downside is that they don't pay the kind of attention they need to pay to the types of photos they should be uploading. So there's had to been a lot of rejected photos and then they upload again, but I guess that's going to be natural. So.
No doubt.
I did fail to mention one of the things that we're doing going into fall that's more about good customer service. And what we're doing with the students is we're dividing up the payments for their parking permits across the semesters. And so that's another piece that our app dev group is, and working with app dev and BA, we're working on getting that prepared so that we can spread those costs across the semesters, which is, if you think about it, that's how students are distributed money via the Hope scholarships, via grants, funding of any sort. So we're becoming a much more customer focused by doing things like that.
Good deal. Well, like I said, that's that's sort of a high level list of projects we're working on. Of course, we're doing everything from, automated updates to your PCs while you've been out. We're going around, like Scott said, we're starting to go around now and check on these, make sure they're powered up, getting updates on them as people come back to campus, hopefully in a few weeks or July or whenever it happens to be. Everything will be ready for you as you come in. So, if you do have any problems, all you have to do is reach out, and we're more than willing to be there to support you. And with that, is there really a chance to take any questions you might have or suggestions or anything else? Catherine, has there been any, or is this first call?
Was a question earlier about student teams. Is there a student team for all aspects of IT? And then just for the benefit of the ones watching on YouTube, Mark actually answered and said that there are currently a couple of student workers helping the IT pros most of the past year. Nick and Adam, like you mentioned, both being student workers in IT prior to them becoming full-time. But that there's also in the talking stage of students helping the app dev team. And At least that was the conversation before COVID. So,
Well, I can expand on that a little bit. We before COVID happened, we actually got the okay to hire a student worker, which that person will end up coming on board when we open back up, hopefully. But that person will work both with the IT support group and with app dev, and we're looking for any opportunities to engage the students at UGA. They have a very good program teaching computer science and computer information systems, management information systems. So it's one of the best places possible to look for people to help us in IT.
And I'm going to jump in a little bit on that one too. It got a little lengthy, so I sent a private response back to Tamala on that, but I'll share a little bit of it. As part of the engagement side with the academics and the university community for the 5-year plan, we definitely have hopes of forming a little bit more, I guess, formal relationships, as Scott was saying, with some of the degree programs on campus that are educating and churning out these students that align with the nature of the work that we're doing. So, we do have the computer science program, we have the MIS program, we have the, in the management programs, IT and BA both involve a lot of project management work, process mapping efforts of the sorts. The BA group especially, we have very high hopes of trying to engage into the graduate degree programs for artificial intelligence. Getting that kind of knowledge and know-how injected into what we're trying to do with data, especially as it gets to the predictive and prescriptive analytics that we've touched on before, it really, really could be, a game changer. So, hopefully through these partnerships, we can, really engage with our student community on campus, give them some very good real world experience. Who knows, maybe some of it can ultimately one day be in full-time careers for these kids as well. And then there's opportunity for aspects of even presenting, like some of us with our specialties, going and educating a bit, providing some trainings. And to be honest with you, we always talk about thinking bigger, being beyond our borders. Robert and I have talked before. There's so much opportunity to engage in a similar way with Athens Tech that's right here in our own backyard, and take advantage of what we have with the technical college system of Georgia, which is a tremendously well-run program. I have the utmost respect for those guys. So anyway, we'll see how things develop, but yeah, the goals and the hopes are there to really have a beefed up and well built out student representation that is cross-cutting across all of the different technology work that we're doing.
Good deal. Any other questions, Catherine, or anybody else?
not yet. Robert just chimed in. Technology we're working on with our current iris cameras is only one part, and it helps with people that don't have access to smartphones or other devices. And we are also working with USG on this and are working on a new ID card options. Robert, would you like for me to unmute you? Where'd you go? You were just there. Oh, there you are. All right, you should be good, Robert.
Okay, well, and I really wasn't wanting to interrupt. The guys are doing a great presentation. I just wanted to make sure to add some clarity to some of the questions that were coming through. We definitely are looking at not just a single option. We're looking at how we can get options so we have contactless surfaces for people and new ID card options. Bill and his team have been working on those solutions, but Bill has been on an ID card solution task force with the university as a whole, looking at new ID card options. There's some stuff that we can't talk about because of NDAs, which are non-disclosure agreements that we have with some companies. But overall, rest assured, we are looking at new technologies and ways that we can address some of these things, but also making sure we're backwards compatible, because as Maggie said, you know, not everybody has a smartphone. And sometimes we kind of look at it as, oh, we're a university, everybody has a smartphone. But the reality is not everybody does. And we need to make sure we're looking out for all people and not just some groups of people.
Yes. And I think, you know, with the ID card, you know, we made the switch. Most everyone now has a new ID card in the last couple of years, and they're contactless, meaning that even though they still have a mag stripe on the back of them to swipe like on a Coke machine, before fall, we will have it where that will be contactless, where you can just tap to the Coke machine with your ID card if you have funds in your campus accounts. So that is well underway. Coke is actually in the final stages of testing, and it'll be on campus to do some on campus testing here just in a couple of weeks. We expect by mid-July that they'll have that project wrapped up and it'll be live. So, but there's, like Robert said, unfortunately, there's some other things going on. We can't get into the details, but needless to say, we're looking at every option that's out there to make sure that we're bringing the best technology back to UGA we can. All righty. Well, if there's no other questions, we will return 8 minutes to your day and call it a wrap.
Sounds great. Thanks for the session, you guys. We appreciate your taking the time to present and show us what's going on and how IT is getting fall ready.
Catherine, before we go
For it.
Bill, there was a question that came into the chat right there toward the end that asked about using our ID cards to be able to check in with the new CABA clocks and going into that. And I know that we're working on the contactless component of that, but there isn't yet an integration with the CABA clocks. And what we were trying to do was look at solutions that we had on campus to be able to reach into that CABA clock and be able to create some contactless situations and also make it quicker and easier, you know, because if you are having to fumble around and find your ID card, your eyes are always with you, hopefully. So, you know, we're looking at some of those solutions, but we're not just looking at one solution. So, Bill, if you want to maybe touch on that a little bit, I don't know of integrations for the CABA clock beyond what we're trying to work on right now.
There is both for the CABA clock and the iris cam have contactless ability. It requires a software package to be installed and an interface written for work, but the iris cameras are already, they're a little more advanced. They have the what they call DesFire EV1 capability built into them. The CABA clocks require sort of a bolt-on module that makes it contactless. So, but it is possible, and that's some of the things we're looking at, along with, like I said, integrating the iris camera. That question, I raised it, and it's somewhere around the USG level right now as to where it's at. I got an update late Friday afternoon, actually, that they were still investigating how we would go about doing that. So I'm waiting to hear back more from them.
Yeah, we're just trying to lead the teams, you know, because sometimes they're forgetting about some of those contact surfaces, and we have some tools. We just wanted to be able to make sure we could put that in too. So I appreciate that. Sorry to kind of jump in there, but I saw that come through and I wanted to make sure we could address it while we had people right here. So
Cool.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow morning for our 10 o'clock session. And it's going to feature the finance team. So we'll see everybody in the morning, bright and early. Have a
All
great
right.
evening, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.